Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I wanted to say hello to everybody. Thanks for joining. Here I am covering up the camera. I've never done this one other time and it didn't work. It's cold out here. I'm shivering. Came out here to one of my favorite spots in the city this morning. Got a little bit of time to reflect on what happened yesterday and what's happened in the last week or two in this country. What I think might happen. A little bit about my experiences. At a certain point in my life, I had succumbed to depression, and I wanted to quit smoking, and there's a pill for that. And you find out, you go to a doctor, there's a pill for everything. Yeah, there's a side effect for everything too. I was under a lot of stress. This is being caused by other things, and the depression and the pills. At any rate, I found a way to get off of them, and I'm just talking about Wellbutrin, Paxil, the ones they give you to quit smoking and for depression. At the same time, the only way I was able to do that was through gardening and eating green foods. And I never really cut out protein or meat myself, but that was the sunlight, carrying water, digging in the ground, getting my hands dirty. A lot of things I didn't have to do when I worked at a call center, right? In a cubicle. So a lot of my experience is like Office Space. And Peter Gibbons locked in this cubicle. I spent some time in a cubicle. Worked for various phone companies and did tech support, and did provisioning and that sort of thing in our network, and working at a phone company is constantly just putting out fires. You're just constantly dealing with network. But you're sitting on your ass, and you're in air conditioning, and you're not getting any sunlight, and you're working 3 hours for your next break, and it's not enjoyable, and it's not fulfilling. And working outside and working with the earth and working with plants, gardening, working with other people that are doing the same thing, it's a lot more enjoyable. And that leads us to the discussions about holistic medicine and fasting. A lot of times when you're sick, it's best not to eat for a while. Eat water, eat soup. So much of what we eat is just packed full of the corn syrup, just packed full of sugars, preservatives, poisons. Just the coloring additives. A lot of the American cities. So, leading up to that, I was really depressed. Lost my job, lost my wife, lost, it was a depression and a divorce, and tried living at home for a little while, and found myself on the streets. And the best place to go, where I could find a place to live that was affordable and was inner city, and I was from the suburbs. And I'd never experienced anything like a neighborhood that had houses in it that didn't have services. And all sorts of things like this that people experience in the inner city, that they actually were raised this way, and they live this way, and they've lived this way forever, as far as they can remember. And man, they still have fun, they still laugh, they still joke. It was not something that I experienced in white suburban life. I mean, when times are hard, you don't act that way. I was so inspired. I was made so happy by that. And so much of that is holistic medicine is not about that. It's not about what you're putting in your body. It's about what poisons you're not putting in your body, including the stress and including the... That's not to say avoid work. Work is great. Work is what you need. Hard work, fulfillment. You get a job done. You have a job done at the end, something that you can look at and say, look, I did that. It's not the same thing as call center work. There's nothing to look at the end of call center work to say, hey, look what I did. Learning as much as you can about plants, learning as much as you can about gardening, and about which foods you need to eat to make yourself feel good is one of the more important things that we do in our experiences. So we're about ready to possibly experience some upheaval in the music world, in the medical world. We're about ready to experience some upheaval that I think America knows how to deal with in a positive way. And in the end of this, the places where most of our people live in the cities are going to wind up being beautiful. And it isn't going to be because of any law or a bill that told us that this is what we have to do and raise our taxes or anything. It's because people will get out there and they'll do it. And they know what's right. And they know what people need. And it isn't pills. And it isn't hospitals. Most likely it's sunlight and friends. Good times and possibly some singing and some dancing. That's the kind of thing people need to feel better about their lives. I'm getting cold. I'll talk to you later.